Great things are going on. I wanted to speak a bit more about this amazing topic I spoke with you about last week and the week earlier as well. A little bit. It's very wide. It's very heavy. It's kind of heavy. I mean, rich in knowledge, rich in understanding. Wanted to talk to you a bit more about the concept of godliness, the concept of time, the concept of our ability to understand what really goes on in the world around us as we live our simple lives here on earth, walking, drinking, eating, talking, and meanwhile big things are happening, and most people are completely unaware. They're totally into the flavors, the smells, the sights, the sensations of all the materials around them, their inner feelings and the feelings of their bodies, but not connecting themselves to the deep, solid, powerful message, inner channel of information that is consistently delivering a godly message to us as individuals and as public and as humans. In reality, the Maker is one. And the Creator Himself, He is the one and only. There is no one but Him, en od milvado. And nothing in this world is outside of Him. You cannot say, oh no, that's my money. Like the verse is saying, Li hakesef veli hazahav ne'um Hashem. All the gold and all the silver belongs to me, the speech of Hashem. So you're taking something that belongs in the world, and the world itself is a creation of the Maker, and then you start hoping, imagining, thinking, assuming that things are yours when you're playing in someone else's playground. It's Hashem's world. It's not the person's world. Even if you bought a house, even if you bought that apple, before you bite the apple, you are obligated to say bracha, and that bracha will confirm your understanding that the Maker Himself created the apple and gave it to you. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam borei peri ha'etz, that you are the maker of the fruit of the tree. If you don't say that, it's kind of like you're stealing. It's a theft. To bite that apple, that you paid that on that apple with your cash, the fruit of your labor. Yeah, but as long as you're not recognizing and admitting out loud that the Maker of the world, He is the one who owns and created everything. So there's a lacking, and mainly a lacking in poverty in your wisdom, in your power of understanding. So this world is a reflection of the Maker Himself through filters and curtains and coverings that He Himself set and established for us to see Him through them. Because the verse is saying, Ki lo yira'ani ha'adam v'chai. A person cannot stare, look, see Hashem and stay alive because of Hashem's enormous power. It's like to want to breathe all the oxygen in the universe. It's like to want to drink all the ocean water in one zip. It's like you are unable, out of your limitation as a human being, and even as a free and unchained soul in the world to come, when a person is totally free and able to fly to wherever his heart wish for him, even there you're going to be like a drop of water in the ocean. So yeah, you totally became the ocean, but still there is a huge journey that drop of water will take to cover the depths of the sea and to reach all the shores and to rise with all the amazing waves. It's like, it's a process. It will take time. You're tiny compared to the seven seas, to the whole water sources of the universe. Really, to be one with all of them, it's some process, right? It's gonna take a while. So, and the ocean is limited because there is maybe an enormous amount of drops in the ocean, like gallons, like billions of gallons of water, but still there is a precise, very accurate number that the Maker set for the oceans. Like, there is a number. Maybe it's too big for us to count. Maybe we are unable to measure, but the Maker, he knows exactly how much water there is in the ocean. He knows exactly how much water he put into creation and where he stopped when he said enough, that's it. So there is an amount, there is a number to the sand grains, there's an amount to all the air particles, to all the sound waves, to all the sunbeams. Like, there are numbers to all. Everything in creation is measured and set in an amazing calculation based on Hashem's great wisdom. And only Hashem knows exactly what is the right number of each of this world particles to create synchronization, to create harmony, to create balance, for the sun not to heat too much, and the water not to drown the world, and the sand not to become too heavy and deny other parts of the world, that all animals will be able to live together. Everyone in all the nations, except for the Jews, of course, like they need to go to the sea, but except for the Jews, everyone else supposed to live here in great harmony. So the Maker of the universe, he knows exactly how to create that balance, and that balance is actually Hashem Yitbarach own reflection through filters. So he actually just minimized his great, enormous, wonderful, graceful light through very thick filters that are allowing us to enjoy Hashem's existence, Hashem's truth, Hashem's light into our vessels, into our sensors system, that we will be able to smell and see and taste and hear and feel and think about things and embrace things and have deep thoughts, and like to have spiritual elevations and potential of growth and ability to travel, and like all those things are reflections of the Maker himself that is shining his light through those curtains to us. Now, we, within ourselves, within our bodies, we have those wonderful, amazing portions of godliness. Those are our souls. And like that, you have a family tree that is your legacy, that is your family history, that you are the son of your parents, that they are the children of, you're the child of your parents, and your parents are the children of your grandparents, and your grandparents are the children of their parents, your great-grandparents, and on. And history, even if we don't remember it, is proving and will testify what really took place. You are the one that you are. Like your 7 generations ago that you don't remember, they were them. There are no 2 options. Maybe you don't remember, maybe you're not so sure, maybe in your mind there are 2 options because your mind is lacking seeing the whole picture, but in reality you are the descendant of who you are the descendant of, and that's it. There are no 2 lanes over there. It's just who that brought you to the world and no one else. So like that, there is this tree of life, this oak of bodies, there is also a spiritual tree. And that spiritual tree is the dynasty of your soul. Your soul is very rich and very powerful and might even contain within it right now as we speak few different souls. Maybe your soul now is a combination of few souls. If I'm not wrong, the maximum is 4 souls. That's what I read in Shara Gilgulim, the book of the Ari Kadosh, that there can be only 4 souls together in a body. Maybe there are exceptions, maybe there are other situations, but as to chapter 4 that I'm currently reading now, that's what that appears. So inside of the person there is a soul, and that soul is godly. This is chelek eloka mimal. It's a portion of God from above, a portion of godliness from above. And when the Creator created the world, so he took out air, some spirit from inside of his holy self, and gave that spirit of life into the physical bodies. And the Gemara, the Talmud, is asking, where did he brought that air from, like that Ruach Chaim, that life spirit from his own inside, from himself. So you have the spirit of the Maker within you, and that's your soul. And a person's spirit is himself, is his own property. It's who he is. Your air inside your system is who that you are. So Hashem's soul, so to speak, the one that he gave us, is actually his long arm into our bodies. So he reached out through the curtains with beams of his godliness and treasured them into worthy messengers to carry those precious spirits and souls and to accomplish some missions, our life purpose, our goals, our hopes, our dreams, exactly what Hashem wants us to achieve. And through our life travels, the Maker of the universe is waking us up all the time to understand and realize and understand what Hashem wants from us. One person's soul is crying that it wants to learn Torah, that it wants to learn Hebrew. Another person's soul desiring to build a house, to get married, to have children. Every person with his inner powerful urge and his wonderful, amazing, good, holy desire to achieve and accomplish great things in life, based on the inner messages that the Maker wakes up within him. So as a soul that has a great history of reincarnation, of coming and traveling in and out of this world few times each, and many of us are frequent flyers, like really been here many times before, because we messed up, because we were lazy, because we did not accomplish what we were supposed to. So we had to come visit again, and it's not always pleasant, and it's not always so calling and inviting, because sometimes when a person is lazy and stubborn, so he needs to be pushed a little bit for his awakeness. And then the travels and the journeys can be unpleasant. And here we're going back to where we started. The big picture of Hashem is unity. Hashem is one. But in this world, when his reflection is being reflected, it is reflected into pixels, into cells, like on your computer screen, like on your mobile phone. It seems like a picture. You think here Rav Dror. The truth is that you see thousands of colorful dots that are just moving in great speed and giving you the feeling that you see Rav Dror. The truth is that Rav Dror is now in Eretz Israel, in his house, sitting in a certain place in front of his computer, turned on a computer or a phone that has the ability to send a certain code that is actually written with 1 and 0, 1 and 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. That's it, only 1 and 0. A very long code that reflects movements, colors, sounds, feeling of space, and on. And all that information is actually a code. It's not real. It might reflect something that happens in reality, but your eye does not catch the real sight that your brain imagine to catch. Your brain imagine that he sees Rav Dror, but in reality, you see thousands of dots of light that are just flying around in great speed. So also when we look at this world, it seems to us like we see a perfect picture. There's a wall, there are pictures on the wall, there are things, a glass of a cup of tea, a computer here, my computer, I can move it, I can touch it, I can sense it, it's mine, I paid for it. And the truth is that all this creation is really built from particles. It's all a great gigantic wave or a carpet, a screen of cells, of atoms, of tinier particles than atom, things that science we're not even able to dissect and to understand to its endless breakdown, to its final material. And in the book that is called Sefer Yetzirah, Book of Creation, that in our tradition we believe that was written by Avraham Avinu. In that amazing book, there is a very detailed explanation about the time of creation, when the maker of the universe revealed to us that there is Ruach Elokim merachefet al penei hamayim. There is a godly spirit that is hovering upon the water. And the water is the foundation that from it all creation, all physical creation was created. And above the water, there is this spiritual light, Ruach Elokim, the spirit of Hashem, spirit of God, that is hovering upon the water. Now, in that very detailed explanation, you can see clearly that we don't have access to the water itself, means to creation, because there is this kind of magnetic, electric field of spirit that is dividing us from the water, because the water is the source of physicality, so to speak, and the spirit of Hashem that is hovering upon the water is covering all the particles of creation. If you look with a microscope, you will see that your skin, your hand seems to you like one piece. Okay, yeah, that's my hand. Don't touch it. If someone will come with a knife to cut your hand, you're going to be so like hysterical. No, don't touch don't cut my hand. Because in your mind, your hand is complete. It's in one piece. But if you go with a very strong, powerful microscope, and you go deeper and deeper into seeing your skin from close, you will see that your skin itself is built out of cells, skin cells. And there is a crack between each cell to the other, and they don't touch. They are just lying there, one near the other, and there is a space between them. And if your microscope is strong enough, you can travel into that crack and to see between. And even if you're going to go onto the cell itself, you're going to see that that cell is also built out of microscopic cells. Tinier, smaller, and they are all disconnected. They're always just placed like a puzzle, very close one piece to the other, but there is always air in between them. There is always this energetic field that is called chashmal, like electricity, that is surrounding and protecting that cell and covering it in a certain energy field of light that particle's shield. That is his, like our world atmosphere that is protecting us and allowing us to live. He has his own energetic field that allows him to exist within. And when you go deeper, there are smaller bubbles of that energetic field that are protecting tinier cells. And the book of creation, Sefer Yetzirah, is explaining that spirit of Hashem, Ruach Elokim, that is hovering upon the water does not have a shape, but it reflects, it's showing any figure. It's like a screen. It's a live screen. So actually, if you go all the way with that investigation and you go deeper and deeper, and all those parts are always breaking to two and breaking to two and breaking to two, smaller and smaller and smaller, in the end, you're left with infinity. You're left with keep on swimming in between the parts, like in space. And you're always in space. Because you as a particle can never reach the other particles, because there will always going to be that energetic field that is the godliness that is surrounding us. and reflecting itself to us, just in small doses, just in small parts, small portions, for us to have access to the great wisdom. Because if now, in a moment, someone will try to download all the knowledge to you, your brain will crack. Like it will explode in no time. Like there's no way for you to contain even your own information. Even you use something like between 3 to 5% of your mind ability, of your brain's power. Even to think your own thoughts and to be your own person, you are not able to. Even with your emotions, you cannot deal, and you deny them, forget them, and run away for your better future hopes all the time. Like, you can't handle. So to handle Hashem, to handle all the ancient archives of knowledge, of why exactly there is that number of stars and what each star is made of and for which purpose and how it reflects light and how that great light of the stars is shining on earth and in different angles and how it affects the streams of the rivers and how the waterfalls are reflecting the light of the moon and what reaction the trees has because of those in what way you think to yourself that you ever going to be able to deal with all that information? You want to start understanding the conversations of the gigantic whales in the ocean and the dolphins that are speaking like in great sounds, amazing talks they have, and you're unaware. For you, those are like mysterious sounds that can barely be heard, but they contain knowledge. They have a conversation. All the tweets of all the birds, all the movements and all the dances of all the bees and all the caterpillars, like there are trails in history. If you look at the ground, if you see, if Hashem will take your mind for a second and just gonna allow you, gonna access you to one aspect of creation, for an example, the footsteps of deers from moment of creation until today. Just see the pattern, see the roads, see the tracks, see the ways that they were walking, how one met another and they mate and multiplied and brought more of those amazing young deers to the world and became a herd, a pack, and they went to the fields and crossed one area to another. Like, just look at the footsteps on the sand or on the ground, on the muddy, close to the swamps, ground. If you would just see that thing, one thing, the fly of one kind of birds, even one bird, to just see all her lifetime, you would be overwhelmed. There is a very deep Kabbalistic book that is talking about the hidden language, the hidden conversation that is being written by the hands of the righteous people as they speak. The righteous person is talking and he gives a conversation, but meanwhile, while he talks, his hands are moving. And all those movements are actually writing down a whole conversation that is different, that is else. It's like a commentary on his lecture. It's a side conversation about the lecture. And it's written. You don't see the blank, you don't see the page, you don't see the ink, but Hashem is writing. Hashem is writing a whole side book, additional book to the conversation that you just heard. You don't see that. If we would see all those things, but all those details together, when you take all details, all cells, all sites, all angles, all life light reflections on water, on trees, on flowers, on cars. All the details, all the atoms, all the heat, all the knowledge, all the history, all the depths of insides and the expressions of outside. All those reflections are reflecting Hashem, the maker of the universe. And now you can understand why we cannot understand him, why we cannot grasp him, why we cannot see the big picture. It's enormous and it's filtered. Like even that we see is through cement walls filters. It's like through steel filters. Like, do you know how much the physicality is blocking? How much it's shading? It's blocking the light almost completely. There are some points that the light cannot be seen there. The darkest hours, the moments of cruelty, where people are losing their mind, when people are dying, when people are being hurt tremendously. Those hours are hours that light cannot be seen in. But those hours are also reflecting something. We cannot grasp it because there's no light. How can you see when there's no light? But in the end, you will understand that was the dark background that was bringing out the light. What? How? In the future we'll understand, not now. Now we cannot. Now we need to believe. Ve'emunatcha balelot. And your faith is in the nights. At nights, you cannot count on your knowledge and on your wisdom. You should count on your faith. You should trust. You should believe. And you should walk. You breathe. You hope. You pray. And you continue without knowing. Just by believing. When a person is underwater and looks up, he sees a silver ceiling of the water touching the air. When the air and the water are touching, from underneath it looks like silver. But when you look at it from the top, from the air side, from outside the water, then you see the reflection of the outside world. The trees will will be seen on the water, the sunset, the mountainsides you can see that on the lake, you can see that on the ocean, you can see the reflection of the sky. The sky is blue. Why the sky is blue? Why the water is blue? Because the sky is blue. The sky is blue and they reflect their color onto the water. When you take a cup of water, it's not blue. It only seems blue because of the reflection of the outside of the sky. That's why the ocean looks blue. So the outside of the water reflects the outside world, and the under the water reflects that silver line. Now when you look up to the upper waters, to the spiritual world, so then there is that silver screen as well that blocks your sight from seeing the upper world, the spiritual world, the world that is beyond. But when you go above the water, most likely after 120 years of life, and as a soul you're being free from the water, means from physicality, as I explained earlier, that all physical things came out of the water. The Maker first created the world covered with water, and then he revealed the ground from underneath the water. So water is the foundation of creation, because in the beginning everything was upper water. The Ein Sof. My seat is making interesting noises. Upper water was the only water. The Sea of Souls was endless and was covering infinity, and there was nothing but it. But then the Maker decided to create the world, so he separated the upper waters and the lower waters. And the lower waters is everything we know. Everything came out of that water, crying water, that are crying to come back to their root, to be in touch with the Maker again. But above the space that the Maker created for the separation, the Rakia, the sky, that is like a spread sheet that is separating the divine upper water and the lower water. Above that sky, that space, there is the upper water. And over there, you can see what that is reflecting, like this world reflects on water. In the upper world, you will see the reflection underneath you, and above you will be Hashem himself. So when you look on this world, you can see that it's all the reflection of Hashem, because water covers, because the Spirit is covering the water, like air covers the water in this world, and Ruach Elokim is covering Pnei Hamayim, the face of water, and all this world is water based on. So the reflection up on the water, where water meets the Ruach, the Spirit, is Hashem, because Hashem is above. Okay, so you learned a little bit of Kabbalah tonight. It won't damage you, don't worry. And that's it. I'm on a project. Keep on hitting waves.